morning. It's a chilly, rainy Central Oregon morning. And yesterday we drove 8 hours to pick up these 6 massive 46-inch tires that we're going to put on the International 4800 today. And this is what it's going to go on. It's going to go on our beautiful mega cab 4x4. We're going to get rid of these dualies, switch to super single beadlock 46s. I'm hoping that it's going to fit. I have no idea. This is already pretty tight with 42, so I know this mud flaps, that's going to be gone, and we might have to end up trimming this. But anyway, we're going to pull this into the shop because we're supposed to get rain all day and get going. These are big. Woo. Oh, buddy. Upon further inspection, none of these have valve cores. And it looks like our little handy dandy bag of extra goodies got them. All right, it's about 20 minutes later and we finally aired up one of these to about 40 PSI. These are 46 inches. Those are 54s for reference. These are massive. When I was picking these up, I've never run these before. They're 395, 85, 20s. Obviously, they have measurements, 46 inches, but I wasn't really expecting them to be this big and this heavy. And I'm really hoping they're going to fit on this International. All right, it's a couple hours later. We got some good news and bad news. Good news is we pulled the truck in and that looks pretty badass. And that's about the only good news we got. Bad news is this isn't getting done today, not even close. First is these valves, 2 of the 5 valves are bent. And they're misshaped. And so I don't know if you can tell that's oblong. None of them came with cores. So I put a core in there and immediately, got wedged in there and it's all busted up. That means I got to replace all the valves. Not a big deal, but these are beadlock wheels, super singles. So in order to access and get a new valve, I have to actually take the whole wheel apart. So these 20 bolts, I don't know when the last time they were undone was, but they're going to have to get undone today. Hopefully we don't wreck any nuts or anything. We're going to lube them up real good. But this beadlock has to come apart. We do have to special order some valves, so this ain't getting done today. The second set of bad news is real bad. So I drove 3.5 hours one way to pick up these tires and wheels from a guy in Washington, and I was like, hey, these aren't 20-year-old tires, right? No, they're off of 2020. They're off a 2020 truck. Cool, great. And I get there and they were all upside down, so I couldn't check the dates. And I was like, they look a little bit old. I just want to make sure that they're not, 20-year-old tires. I was like, oh, this is just paint. Don't worry about it. We painted the tires. They're just paint. I assure you, 2020, no big deal. And I trust the guy. And I get home, and maybe he didn't know. Maybe he genuinely thought they were. I don't know. But I got home. And I don't know if you guys know how to read DOT stamps. This is a 21-year-old tire, not a 2020 tire. This tire was manufactured on the 9th week in 2004. So these are 20-year-old tires. And so I checked all 6. I got 6 of them. I got one 22-year-old tire, 3 21-year-old tires, one 17-year-old tire, and then one, I think it was 14-year-old tire. Marketplace is filled with old tires. So I made sure that, or I thought I made sure that they were new tires, but very disappointed. We're still going to put them on our truck, but I doubt they're going to last very long. I don't know how long these are going to last. I don't know. This is going to be a science experiment. Tire manufacturers generally recommend not to use tires that are older than 6 years. So we're pretty disappointed. 2020 tires versus 2003, 2004 tires. That's a pretty big difference. I don't know if this guy, had bad intent, but man, the outcome is pretty shitty for me. But anyway, We are up to some shenanigans that I have no idea are gonna work or not. This looks wild. Check it out. So we have the tractor. It's in gear with the parking brake on, hooked up to the back of this wheel. I think my horrible square knots are the weak link. And then we have my 12,000 pound winch hooked up to the front here. And for whatever reason, probably these being 21, 22-year-old tires, the tire will not come off of this wheel. So it's seized on there. You can see all the bolts, everything's undone. And there's a big gap. As you can tell right there, it's just seized in place. I mean, we're pulling my whole tractor forward. That's insane. What's even more insane is my knots are holding. That is insane. How crazy is that? Okay, I might have dragged this tractor 10 feet, and I might have broken my seals on the door, and I might have broken this bottom part here, and I might have, I might have done a little bit too much here to prove a point. But my point is, holy heck. All right, so a 1,500 pound tractor didn't do the trick, but this just did. Wow, I didn't even have pressure on it. Hardly. This wasn't even fully tensioned. Wow, well, there you go. Tree did the trick, and there wasn't anything holding on. That was just the suction pressure. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Sweet. Well, there you go. Right, bud? And there you go, fully undone. We're gonna undo that and replace that. And we gotta do 4 more. Because if I'm replacing that one, I might as well replace them all, get them all the way we wanted to, make sure all these wheels have bead locks, have the inserts, and that they're good to go. Real quick, one more time before we go, this is the part we're replacing. Because these are now super single wheels, we need the inside and outside to have access. So this one, you only had access, right, on the one side. So we're gonna buy these with another port coming out this side. So that way the front tires and the rear tires both have access for airing up and airing down quickly. When you're off-road, you wanna be nice and quick. So upgrading these for sure. Anyways, see you guys in about a week. And it's a few days later. Drinking a beer. It's about 8:30 at night. And we finally finished separating all 5 of these bead locks. Look at this carnage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Separated all 5 of them. Yeah, we got a big old mess. Went to Harbor Freight, and let me tell you guys something about this tool. I ran out of patience, and I went and I got this Maddox tire bead breaker for 79 bucks. It already broke, and I had to weld the top nut on. But holy heck, does it bust beads pretty good. I don't think I would have been able to break these without this thing. I think that there's no way that I could have actually done it. So, yeah, I recommend I recommend this thing. It is a Harbor Freight hunk of junk. Did already break it. I busted that pin apart. So this is nut that it's a hollow nut that just slides over that with a pin inside that holds it in place. That busted in like the first 10 minutes. Not even kidding. But with a little bit of modification, this thing turned out pretty nice. Got a tight back, but we did it. And so we have our valve stems on back order still. They're still gonna be here mid next week, but I don't even have a tracking number yet. So in the meantime, we're gonna clean up all these wheels and tires. We're gonna paint those wheels, get all the rust off, get all the crud off, get some silicone grease on them. A couple of the studs stripped out, so we're just gonna hammer them back in place and then weld them in. Anyways, see you guys tomorrow when we weld in those beadlocks, I guess. All right, well, it's the next day. First off, we gotta weld some of them, fix them up. Some of those studs stripped out. We gotta get them cleaned up and repainted. This definitely ain't pretty, right? So we gotta clean that all up. We want that to seal up nicely. So we're gonna have a little bit of work to do. We have a repair here. Let's see, that's pretty dented up. We wanna make sure everything seals up, and I'll show you the weld that we gotta do. So this guy here, the stud stripped out. So what we'll do is we'll just hammer it back in place so that it sits sitting flush. Get that metal nice and shiny, hammer it in place, and basically just tack weld it in. That way we can grind it off if we need to later, no problem. All right, good morning. Well, the day's finally here. The day that we're gonna mount these tires, hopefully. We got our valves, and you can see how they have two valves, a long valve and a short valve, and that's for super singles. So you can mount these both ways, don't matter. We painted all the wheels. So all the wheels are painted, they're ready to go. Everything's nice and cleaned up, and we are ready to mount these. So we got ourselves a little area that's cleaned up relatively, because you don't want any dust or anything. You obviously want these to seal first try. Everything around here is clean. We're just gonna soap it up and drop her down. All right, a little bit of extra soap up here. We're gonna try to keep everything nice and clean. Don't wanna get any dirt anywhere, even though we're working on a dirt floor. And drop you at the same time. Stay up there. Well, that didn't really work, but it's close enough. Yeah, it's close enough. Sweet. That was nice and easy. Nice and clean. And now what we're gonna do is lube it up real nice. We got some silicone lube, and we're gonna lube up everything in here. We're gonna anti-seize all this right here, and then we'll go ahead and put the top on. We're just gonna lube up this O-ring all the way around. And we don't wanna just put grease on there, because the grease is gonna break down any rubber O-ring. So this is silicone grease, specifically formulated for O-rings and such. Oh yeah. That pops right down. Oh yeah. Easy money, look at that. We should have 5 of these done in no time. All right, now we can begin torquing. I gotta look up the torque spec. I don't know what it's gonna be, but in the meantime, we're gonna throw this baby on the charger because we got 5 of these to go, 4 of these to go. All right, so we're gonna crank these down to 200 foot-pounds roughly each, and then just mark them. Go over them twice, make sure they're all good, star pattern, and star pattern don't have to be perfect. You just wanna make sure that you're doing everything roughly, evenly. Yeah, let's get it done. Perfect. All right. All right, she looks real pretty. Last thing we got to do is just pump her up, blow it up to 40 PSI, set her aside, get started on the next one, and then basically check it in like an hour, make sure that it's still at 40 PSI. All right, 1 down, 4 to go. I'm not going to show you guys all the rest. I'm just going to skip forward, probably about 4 hours. All right, it is 8:18 at night. We got all 5 bead locks done, but if you listen closely, this guy's got a hiss, and this tire is bad. We got a tight back, but we got 5 bead lock tires, so we're good there. That's an easy fix. It's not on the sidewall. And then tomorrow is the day that we finally get to put these tires on that International. All right, and the day is finally here. We're finally gonna put these tires on this truck. We've been waiting a long time to do this. 46s going on this Mega Cab 2002 International 4x4 truck. We're gonna start with the back. We're gonna get those on first, and then we're gonna take it to the front. I think fitment issues are gonna come from the front, stud issues are gonna come from the back, but let's see. Go driver's side first. That was easy. All right, so these threads are not left-hand threads. They're just regular old right-hand threads. We're gonna use this big nut buster here. There's a torque multiplier. Just loosen them all up and then get the rest of them with the impact. All right, round 2. Down, 2 to go. All right, we're just getting underneath this front axle here. And do you guys notice something weird? Because I sure do. Look at those 2 hangers. They're opposite each other. I've never seen that before, right? U-bolt facing down, U-bolt facing up. That's, I've never seen that before. That's really interesting. And it's definitely designed that way. Look up there. Anyway, that's wild. I just thought I should point that out. Interesting. Never, have you guys seen that before? And this is a Fabco front differential. Interesting. Son of a gun. All right, we just hand tighten those. We'll hand tighten them with a 3/4 inch wrench, but there you go. You can already tell just with the clearance here, that's gonna be too tight. Hands down, that's gonna be too tight. So we're gonna put the other tire on And before we drive, before we do anything, we're gonna get the other tire on and then jack the whole front end up, get it on jack stands and kind of shimmy, do all our turning and stuff and see where it's gonna foul without the suspension even moving up and down, just basic turning. I have a feeling that this is not gonna work.
Hey, bud. How you doing?
All right, well, there you guys go. 46 is fully installed, fully half installed. I guess they're not really installed totally because all these lug nuts need to come back out. And we have a bunch of trimming to do. Look how tight that is. Yeah, so we're not gonna be able to drive this today, unfortunately. So I'm gonna jack up both sides so that the front end is well off the ground. And from there, we're gonna figure out what fouls, what we gotta cut, but that looks pretty good, I think. Let's check it out from the front. Nice. There you go. Beefy. Problems. Big old problems. All right, so we're not touching the steering stops yet, not even close. Oh yeah. So my fears are realized. We're gonna have to move this tank over. Not only are we gonna have to cut this, no big deal, but we're gonna have to move the tank over, so. Yeah. All right, well, that's as far as we're gonna get tonight. Not gonna get to pull this thing out, unfortunately. We gotta go move that gas tank back. I haven't gotten underneath it to look at it. And then we gotta replace the lug nuts, but we don't really need to do that immediately. And then we gotta cut these fenders. So 3 things we gotta do, 2 things before we can actually get driving. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, update from our last video. It's not even the same day. It's a couple days later. We've been super busy, rollover Tacoma, Jeep Willys, stuck up in the country. But we're back at it. But now we got this toolbox out. We got this tank drained and pulled out slightly. It's super loose. When you're going 45, 50 miles an hour on chain, like maxing out the chain speed, they don't sit flush against your tire. They bow out. And so we don't want anything. We don't want those chains touching this tank. So we actually decided that we're gonna push this tank all the way back. But in order to push that back, we have to also move this bracket over. So now we have to kind of go back and disconnect all of these brackets. So this bracket is getting moved over. Where this bracket was already got moved over. So we're pretty much just moving everything over 4 inches. And yeah, tank's gonna be sitting about 2 to 3 more inches this way. We're getting real messy over here, but that was the knee. We got the exhaust off. Got this hole. So there's a 3.5 incher. Got that disconnected right up until the 90, going up into the turbo, but got the muffler off if anybody wants that. Come and pick it up, totally free for you YouTubers. $20 on Marketplace. 30 bucks if you offer me 10 bucks. But anyway, yeah, so we're gonna replace that. But for now it's the heavy lifting. Now we gotta take this tank off, and this is just loosey-goosey. Let's get this out of here. Add it to the pile. All right, well, there you go. Here's the chaos. So yeah, what we're gonna do is we're basically gonna, I don't know if we're gonna keep these attached, but we're basically gonna move these over here, and then these guys are gonna get moved over there. Everything's just gonna shift back nice and, yeah, nice and easily. So I got this laser level, next day delivery, and this thing's pretty dang cool. All self-leveling. But yeah, so I got that 9 inches up right now, and I'm thinking that's probably where we're gonna cut it. I think this fender comes down too far anyway. Like the front is up here. The bottom's all the way down here. So 9 inches is what we got right now. That's the minimum that I would want to cut, not the maximum. So cutting at 9, now we have, you know, probably another 4 to 6 inches of more fender that we can cut if we want to. But we're gonna go ahead, cut 9 inches off of each side and see what she looks like, see if it still fouls. So far, so testing the tires, right? We actually have a lot of clearance. I was expecting that we were going to be fouling on the leaves, yeah, just fouling. Let's see, on the steering arm on the other side, but we're not. We're not fouling at all. The only spots that we actually fouled was the gas tank and the fenders. So we are going to cut those off, and I think after we cut these fenders, I think we're going to be hitting steering stops and we're going to be clearing everything. So that is awesome. 46s, yeah, looking like they clear pretty well. But anyway, yeah, we're going to mask up because this is fiberglass. Mask up and get cutting. Still got the mask because we got to do the other side, but we're full steering stop. So with 46s, you don't lose any steering if you're able to move the tank and cut the fenders, but that's amazing. Sweet. All right, now for this side, we're gonna do the same thing, get our level, mark our line, and yeah, cut it up. All right, sweet. We have steering lock to lock. Not bad at all. But we're not done because obviously this doesn't run. And we want to go and test drive this truck. So now what we got to do is remount this 6 inches back, remount the toolbox a couple inches back. And we just got to figure out the mounting basically because the holes don't just magically line up 6 inches over. So that's something that we got to figure out. But in this video, I swear we're going to go test drive this truck. It's almost done. We'll get there. All right, well, it's like weeks later. I don't even know when the last time I recorded was. I don't even know what the last thing I said was, but I imagine I was around here talking about this. So we moved the tank backwards. You can see these are some old lines here. They don't entirely match up. We moved the back brackets over each one of them, but we didn't move them equal distances, if that makes sense. But plenty of clearance. That's exactly what you want. We want plenty of clearance right there. We even cut this thing, but I think I videoed that. So we just buttoned this down. We still have to hook up fuel and electronics. And then this is still loose here. This whole thing is loose here. We also had to undo those brackets and move everything over this way. So this toolbox is also a few inches back. And I think that this is probably about 6 inches back. But that's the clearance. The step still lines up with the door here. The door here, even though it's like 6 inches over, I think it actually lines up better. But we're almost ready to pull this thing out. We also disconnected the exhaust. We just disconnected it basically up there, and it's just a little 90 that's pointed down, 290s. So we're going to have to get some custom exhaust. I'm going to get a 5-incher. I'm not sure where I'm going to route it yet. If I'm going to go stack, which I don't think I'm going to do, or if I'm going to go over the rear axle, or if I'm going to go under one of these toolboxes. I don't know yet. I haven't thought about it. Plenty of space back here to make whatever I want happen. But this baby, I hope, is getting pulled out tonight. The only things that we have to do are connect this toolbox connect all the plumbing, all the fuel lines and electrics, and then tighten all the lug nuts down properly. We're gonna have to properly torque them down, and then we can pull this baby out and hope she starts, because we did drain that tank. So yeah, another thing, I gotta put fuel in there, and hopefully that I don't have to bleed the injectors, and hopefully it'll just start up and we'll be good to go. All right, we got everything out of the way. We're about to pull this thing out, but you're not gonna believe what I just found. So we took the exhaust off, and we just cut this off. There's a big muffler on the end of it, so we cut it. And there's like a really short little exhaust, just it's like a little 90 just coming off there, temporary. But look what just came out of that. What? Yeah, I think the turbo failed at some point. That's crazy. This literally just fell out of my exhaust. That is crazy. All right, well, that's it for this video. 395, 85, 20s on International. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and we have so much work to do left with this truck. Next up is the exhaust, and then we got to start the whole bed. Got to figure out the electronics. Horn still doesn't work, and there's a whole bunch of electronics that were left over from the fire truck. And then we got to do the whole bed, gooseneck, bed lift, underlift. Yeah, a lot of work to be done. But I hope you guys liked that video. It was probably pretty terrible, to be honest. That took like 3 weeks, and yeah. But anyway, there you go. Looks pretty good.